Welcome to the Reinvent Your Life podcast, the show that talks about why we do what we do and how we can do it better.
Welcome to the Reinvent Your Life podcast. My name is Chaz Molesky, and today we're talking about positive self-talk. And it's completely different than positive thinking, so please don't think that I'm about to go on a rant about positive thinking. That is absolutely not the case. What I'm talking about today is positive self-talk, and it's actually coming on the heels of a coaching session that I just had. I was speaking with someone who they really prided themselves on their ability to talk positively to themselves. So if they're going through something tough or they have something that's maybe a challenge or an obstacle in front of them, they find their way through by continuously telling themselves positive things or talking positively about their situation. I can get through this. I can do this. I'm stronger than this. I'm more powerful than this. I will overcome this. They have this positive mantra, this self-talk that they use, and it helps get them through some very difficult situations. And as I was listening to this person talk about everything that they've been through and what they've used their self-talk to help them out of, I realized that there's a missing lesson when it comes to positive self-talk that typically goes over our heads, or we don't really evaluate or spend a lot of time on it because we think that positive self-talk is just another one of those frou-frou, like, okay, it's an optimistic mentality. It's this, like, change your life, change your life. You know, the same thing that you hear over and over again. But here's the deal. With positive self-talk, what you're doing is you're being your number one fan, your biggest supporter, right? You are your cheering section. And what you're doing is you're telling yourself subconsciously that you are stronger than you actually believe. You're not that voice that's stuck in your head. You're something greater. You're something more. And when you start to cultivate that inside, you naturally have this positive self-talk come out of you and start working its way into the atmosphere or the universe or however you choose to see the world. But your own personal reality starts to change because you create new boundaries for yourself. You create new limits. You create your own limits. So some people may feel limitless because of the way that they talk to themselves. But it's all about the conversation that's going on in your head. And we've done a podcast on this in the past. If you want to go back to it, it's titled Language. I believe it was one of the first 5 of the podcast. But it talks about how your language shapes your identity and your worldview. Well, the same thing happens with positive self-talk in that if you're consistently negative to yourself, if you consistently tell yourself things like, I can't do this, I won't do this, I'm not capable of doing this, I don't have enough skills, I don't have enough information, I don't have enough knowledge, I don't have enough confidence, whatever you might start saying, if you say that over and over and over again, consistently enough, you'll start to believe it. And the more that you believe it, the less likely you are to take any action that threatens or counters that belief. So if you're consistently talking positively to yourself, saying, I can do it, I have all the information I need, I can get through this, I have all the experience, the confidence, the wherewithal that I need to make it through this, to succeed, whatever it is that you're going through. If you have that and you consistently put that out there and you tell yourself this over and over and over again, guess what? You're going to start believing it. So a lot of people believe in luck, or they think luck is a big thing. Well, guess what? People create their luck, and they create their luck based on what they believe. So if someone is believing that they're capable of doing all of these incredible things, they're going to take the chances and the risks associated with getting these things. And when the opportunities present themselves, they grab at it. They go for it. They seize the opportunity because they're putting themselves in a position to actually do that. And so a lot of people label this as luck. They say that person's so lucky. They're so skilled. They're so talented. Well, they weren't always. It wasn't the case. They made it that way. And they made it that way by consistently, every single day, working to develop that. See, guys, this is a muscle, all right? Your confidence, your belief system, your mindset, it's all a muscle. And in order to grow a muscle, what do you have to do? You have to train it. Right? If you're going to the gym and you wanted to build muscles, you'd start lifting weights, start working out. Well, the same thing happens with your brain. But understand, if you're going to go build muscles at the gym and you only go 1 day a month, you're not going to make a lot of progress, if any at all. Same thing happens with your own mindset or your own belief system. If you don't consistently work on it, if it's not an everyday occurrence, if it's not something that you're consistently trying to benefit from and build, it's not going to give you that payout that you're looking for, which is probably what's going to make you frustrated at the process. It's going to make you not believe that you can have what other people might have, or that you can have what you want to have, that dream life, the dream thing, the job, the relationship, the career, whatever it is, you may start believing that you can't actually do that because you're not doing the things necessary, taking the reps to build that mindset. And one of the most important exercises is positive self-talk. As my coaching session was going on, one of the coolest things about what they were telling me about their self-talk and how it's helped them through so much is that they said they always were able to rely on themselves. That was the biggest thing that separated them from other people and why they made it so successful. He was actually a super successful, I believe like captain of the house or something in a high-end restaurant in New York, and worked his way all the way up from the bottom. And he did it primarily through being his biggest fan and being his biggest supporter. And so what he was saying was the thing that gave him that competitive edge that put him up against other people was that he always believed in himself. He always talked positively, and he always had that internal dialogue that told him he could, he can, and he will, and he is capable, and he can do it. And one of the coolest things about that is that it empowered him when he would have that conversation in his head, that even when he felt scared, when he was not confident in his ability, when he didn't know the path forward, when he didn't know what the outcome was going to be, when all that uncertainty was surrounding him, he had enough belief in himself and enough courage to tell himself, you're going to do this. You're going to succeed. You're going to be okay. You're going to make it. And the more that he told himself that, the more it became true, because the more he believed it and acted in accordance with that belief. So it created an entirely different reality for him that allowed him to seize amazing opportunities and give him this amazing success. So one of the lessons, if not the biggest lesson to take away from this, is if you don't do any form of self-talk that is positive, or very, very little self-talk that is positive right now in your life, you need to start switching that up, because you need to start believing in yourself again. And you have to start trusting that voice in your head. If the voice in your head always tells you that you can't, why would you ever trust it? And if the only reason you're trusting it is because it keeps you safe, well, it's not keeping you safe. It's keeping you limited. It's actually sabotaging you. So challenge that voice and start putting in positive self-talk, positive affirmations, the things that go on inside your head. Need to cultivate an environment, because remember, we have external environments, we have internal environments. The things going on in your head need to create an internal environment that encourages you, that empowers you, that makes you believe in yourself and believe in your abilities. Because if you don't have that, and all you have to rely on is the negative and the things that are going on in your head that tell you that you can't, well, every time you look at an opportunity, you're going to listen to that voice. So the more that you tell yourself you can, the more you start having that conversation inside that calls out all the bull and says, this is what's really true about me. This is what I believe about me. And even though I'm scared, even though I'm nervous, even though I don't know what's going to happen, I know the quality of my character. I know what I can get through, and I know that I'm stronger than my circumstances. And so I'm going to get through this, and I'm going to do this, whatever the thing is that you're doing, right? Just saying that sounds powerful, doesn't it? It sounds empowering. It sounds like something that you really want to lean into that's going to motivate you to move forward, versus I've never done this before and I'm really scared and it's going to be very uncomfortable. I don't think I can do it. I'm going to get really embarrassed. It's not going to go well for me, and I'm never going to want to do this again. See, that's so disempowering. That makes you not even want to take any type of action. And it's all a result of the things that you're telling yourself. All right. So your assignment is take this. Focus on your thoughts, okay? Spend some time actually thinking about some thoughts, especially when you enter into an uncertain situation. And think, am I immediately going negative or am I going positive in this situation? You'll be able to clue into your own patterns and see what your default reaction is. If you notice you're more negative, look for ways to flip that into positive. How can you restructure that thought into something positive, or restructure that belief into something that encourages or empowers you? If you're mostly positive, how can you amplify that? So even though you're really positive already, cool, let's double that. Let's triple it. Make it so positive, so encouraging that all you want to do is tell yourself you can. All you want to do is support yourself, because it gives you such a great, amazing feeling. And you will see when you start doing this, your entire life changes, because you see the world through a different set of eyes. So as always, guys, thank you so much for listening. Please, if you know anybody that can benefit from this podcast, please share it with them. Please, if you have not yet, subscribe to the podcast and leave me a review so I can reach an even bigger audience and change and impact as many lives as I can. As always, I will talk to you soon. Take this information, use it, implement it, and reinvent your life.
Thanks for listening to the Reinvent Your Life podcast. Now go out and apply what you just heard to start your reinvention. Please subscribe, rate, and share this podcast with those that need it most.